his sort of junior, the junior Red Bull car in terms of the RB Cash App of Sonoda. And maybe Perez will try and make some headway and help out Max Verstappen. So you can see the lap times there. Verstappen's just got a second quicker than Russell. In fact, it looks like we're going to start to see a classic sort of, you can see the front group of Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Sainz and Piastri, and then a little bit of a gap to the Russell and Hamilton. So it looks like the Mercedes potentially don't have the pace. And then again, we've seen it so many times this season, but there might well be a Hulkenberg train. There might well be a Hulkenberg train. So we could see people trying to undercut and doing all sorts of stuff to get out the Hulkenberg train. Let's see. Yeah, Bob's called it a Hulkenberg train.
Well, good morning. It is 9:07 on Sunday, May 19th. And this is breakfast. Now, I got to do something here because I know my luck is all bad. So what I'm doing is I'm watching the Formula One race. I'm watching the feed of a gentleman named Kareth, who is he's really smart and really does a good job of talking about the races. And I'm a Formula One fan, always have been. I love speed. So I'll be probably commenting. I'm looking at their leaderboard right now. And right now Verstappen's in the lead. Verstappen's car has been pretty dominant all season for the last couple of years actually. But the McLarens are showing some real pace. Surprisingly, the Ferraris have had problems all year long, but they seem to be, this is their home race, one of their home races, and they seem to be doing okay today. But as the race goes along, if something happens, I'll pop in and say something. But what we have here is breakfast. We want to thank you, Lord, for this bounty that we are about to receive. We appreciate your gracious majesty in allowing us to have this and providing this to us. And we thank you, God, for being in our lives, always being in our lives. Glory to God in heaven. Amen. I hope you're having a great Sunday. I hope that you are inviting God into your life because He's right next to you. And He's there to help. And what do we got here? Well, what do we have here? Let me please not knock all this over. So obviously, first off, we got our good old Deer Park water. Secondly, we've got our good old Javelia coffee with a little bit of half and half in it. No sugar. That's really a very clean, very mild cup of coffee. It's so much better than what I can get outside. I'm not a big fan of K-Cup coffee, but that coffee is really good every time. Very mellow, very easy to drink. This is my home tea, which this has been sitting out for 2 days. So it's alive. It's alive! So what we got here? Well, what we have here is we have a 1/4 pound of bacon. Now, when I cook my bacon, I've said this before, I cut my bacon package in half. And what this does is I cook my bacon in a black cast iron pan, huge one. But unfortunately, if I leave it in one piece, the bacon will not get cooked on the ends. And what this does, this allows me to cook it in the pan and make sure that every part of the bacon is cooked. And I don't have to burn it, because what happens is, with a long piece of bacon, you'll burn the inside of it, but the ends won't be cooked. Now, I don't like any raw pork. So we got a 1/4 pound of bacon. I was going to make a half a pound, but it just didn't work out that way. I didn't feel like I needed that. And we have 4 eggs, and we have, underneath the 4 eggs, we have a cup of grits, which grits is like cornmeal that's cooked up, and it's like a country oatmeal. And then we got 2 slices of whole grain bread here with butter, and then we got our dessert. after the meal, which is this right here, which is 2 slices of whole grain bread, toasted, with butter on it, with Welch's grape jelly on it. So this is kind of like the after meal slice of pie, you know. But let's get to it, huh? How about that? It has been a couple of weeks since I've cooked myself this meal, and I feel like I miss it. And today, we're going down to our friend's Jehovah Witness church, and we're going to commune with them, with the Lord, and I'm going to receive the word of the Lord through their speakers. They have wonderful speakers every time. And they have a large black American contingent at this church. And they are 100% some of those high quality people you'll ever meet. And that's not to say anything about the people out here. I'm just telling you. Those people have massively high standards, okay? I'm just telling you. And that goes with everybody in that church. They have a high standard in the way that they appreciate the Lord and the gifts that the Lord gives them. So, I mean, you hear all kinds of crap about Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm telling you, man, they take that stuff serious. And I feel way underdressed every time I go there because I don't wear a suit and I don't wear suit clothes. But they are so gracious and nice to me and very welcoming. Now look, when I go in there, I know I'm sort of an outcast. And I'm not talking about my race. I'm just talking about the fact that I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, and everybody can see it. So I have to be careful about how I act. So I just keep it right with the Lord, and toasted butter. And I listen to the message. They always have great speakers, and you'd be amazed at what someone who is genuinely into the Bible, when they get a message in the teachings and they come out and they speak for about 45 minutes, how they can open your eyes to things you didn't even think about. Now, I believe one of the young men was talking about Galatians. I think it was Galatians. And he hit, by the way, that bacon is pretty damn good. I went to PetSmart yesterday, and I got Knucklehead her food because her damn skin irritation, it flares up and goes away, flares up and goes away, flares up and goes away. And one of the things that helps it is they make a Applause cat food that has pumpkin in it. And it seems like the pumpkin sort of tamps down the skin irritation. So I got her some of that. I got her some of the duck, the chicken and duck and gravy, and then I got her some of the chicken with cheese and gravy, the cans. I think I got her like, I want to say 20 cans, and it was like $68. This stuff ain't cheap, but it helps her stay alive, so it's worth it. Anyway, Target was right next door. Now, I don't normally shop at Target, but all I wanted was some eggs and bacon, and I was surprised I didn't get any bread, but I didn't. So for the first time in probably 10 years, I went into Target yesterday and I bought this eggs and bacon, and I bought a pound of regular salted butter. And this is their Target brand bacon, which is the cheapest they had. I think it was $5 for a pound. And it's a no-name brand bacon, but that's pretty damn good. I gotta admit, that's pretty good. So if you're thinking about the race, poor Fernando Alonso had a terrible qualifying, worst he's had in a long time yesterday. He's still at last place essentially. Albon's out of the race. It looks like he's one lap down. I think he's out of the race. It seems like he's in the pits right now. But the running order is Verstappen, Norris, which is McLaren, Leclerc, which is Ferrari, Sainz, which is Ferrari, Piastri, which is McLaren, Russell, which is Mercedes, Hamilton, which is Mercedes, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Perez, Ricciardo, Stroll, Ocon, Magnussen, Zhu, Sargent, Gasly, Bottas, and Alonso bringing up the back end, which is unusual. So anyway, I went and got this food, and this morning I made this breakfast. I hadn't had a grits breakfast in a long time, and I wanted some eggs. So I hadn't had some real home-cooked eggs in a long time. Now, I did have that eggs, bacon, and cheese sandwich on Texas toast. I got from the cafe in Richmond at that address. I don't even know if I still have that address. Yeah, I do. The cafe at 2 Paragon Place, 6802 Paragon Place, Richmond, Virginia, 23230. 6802 Paragon Place. This is a little bitty, just a cafe. And everything in it looks brand new. And there's two wonderful African-American young kids in there that are absolutely professional. They look absolutely wonderful. They cooked me 2 absolutely wonderful sandwiches. And I don't care if they're African-American or not. What I care about is that their presentation was spectacular. That place looked beautiful. They were both dressed in brand new black chef's outfits. They took their job seriously, and they cooked me 2 of the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches I had in a very long time. Yes, I paid $7.50 each for them. But when you can get a sandwich with this much bacon on it, that much bacon on it, and 2 eggs and cheese and 2 pieces of Texas toast with butter, pepper, and salt on it, one of them would have been enough for the normal person. But I'm not the normal person when it comes to breakfast. I love my breakfast. I always have. Breakfast has always kept me going. Good old coffee. But my heart aches for this place because they're stuck in the back of the corner of a building and nobody knows they're there. And they need to have a sign. I told the young lady, who was just as nice as she could be, beautiful young girl, supervisor of the place, very talented cook. She was supervising the young man. And she asked me my name, and she said my name over and over and over during the thing. Like, here you go, Phil. Thank you for coming by and shopping with us. And man, the sandwiches were good. They hit the spot. I mean, I'm so used to getting, Now, I love Hardee's, but they know Hardee's biscuit is going to come with that much bacon on it, you know. That ain't going to happen, you know, because Hardee's can't do that. They can't stay in business. I was surprised at how much she put on the sandwich, but I was so grateful because I had to drive 130 miles as I ate that sandwich to get to where my next job was, do my job, and then drive 130 miles back to the warehouse. So that's 4 hours of driving, you know. But we got the job done, and I was very happy about that. Actually, we got the consultation done. Because the job was for a wonderful lady at I can't really tell you the customer name, the company name, but it's a hospital, major hospital brand down in Southern Virginia, and they service, I'm just going to say it, millions of people down there. And they do a spectacular job of it too. They really do. Every time I walk into this customer's hospitals or medical facilities, I feel proud to do their furniture work for them because their people are so attentive and so professional and so caring. And you can't fake that. You can't fake that kind of involvement. You know, it's not one of them things where you show up from work and, I got to do this today, blah, blah, blah. No, these people actually care about the people they're servicing. And it shows. So, I went down there, and there was this wonderful lady, about 50 years old, and she reminded me of a country farm lady. I mean, she had bigger shoulders than I had. She was about 6 foot tall, I want to say about 235 pounds of solid muscle, but still a lady, a nice lady. And she was involved in facilities there. She's doing interpreting blueprints, doing bids for this hospital chain. But they had her stuck in a station that she couldn't. When you're doing blueprints are twice as big as this little black table I got here, and they're twice as wide back out this way. So you got to have something where you can lay them out and look at them. You know, that's paper blueprints, and they still do use paper blueprints. Well, she didn't have any place where she could do that. But worse than that, she had to use the standard computer monitors that the rest of her workers who don't do blueprints use. And that's a problem because when you're using CAD drawings, when you're using blueprint drawings on a computer and they scale to a small screen, all the shit that's in them, you can't see it because there's so much information in the picture. She needs to be using what I'm using is right now to watch this Formula One race is a 60-inch television. And obviously she can't have a 60-inch monitor at her station, but she could have a 30-inch monitor or two 30-inch monitors. And she could have two 30-inch monitors, four, one stacked on each other, and then she could look at it that way. But anyway, I went down there because we had a sample for her, which was she wanted a pencil tray. So we got it was the little cheapest pencil tray we could get because they are always looking to, I don't care how big your business is, they want to start at a low level because they know they're going to be buying, 50 or 100 of these. And they want to meet the need, And this little plastic tray met the need. Which is a plastic pencil tray. So, and when I saw her station, I knew the monitor arm that I had with me was not going to work. And the reason is because it was only one monitor arm. and she already had 2 monitors at her corner workstation. She was working in the corner workstation. Now, this lady's a big lady, and she's not fat. She's just a big damn lady. I'm telling you, man, if she threw a right cross at me, she'd knock my ass out. But she's not like that. She's 100% dedicated to her job and to her coworkers and to her employer and doing the best job she could possibly do. And that kind of broke my heart because I could see that this lady was having to suffer in too small a workstation where she said to me, whenever I do a job, my paperwork, I always write everything down on the paperwork. I don't ever leave anything in my head because I can't remember jack. By the way, this is hitting. This breakfast is hitting, brah. Woo! Hell yeah. Thank you, Lord. So anyway, I wrote down everything on the paperwork. I took pictures of her station because the way they had her station was they had I call it an above desk keyboard monitor arm setup. And what it does is the 2 monitors up here, there's a place on top of the unit where she puts her laptop when she docks it, and there is a place below that where her keyboard tray and her mouse sit. And this all sits on top of the desk. And that damn unit weighs about 65 pounds. And it has to because it has to control all this weight. But anyway, it's very compact. It's very efficient. It's just kind of a pain in the ass to use. And they wanted to get something that would give them more surface space and, meet their needs a little bit better because she's talking about, right away she said, look, I'm probably going to hope I can get some bigger monitors because I got to have bigger monitors to see these prints. And she's working off of I want to say 22-inch monitors. And what she wants is 30-inch, curved, the big ones. And what I said to her was, I said, look, the best bet for you on this, I think, is that you get 2 individual monitors. And we can clamp them on the corner, each side of the corner work surface. You can move them backwards and forwards. And then the arms articulate this way. There's 2 arms that articulate like this, and then they go up and down. So you can put those monitors wherever you want them to be. She says, I like that. I like that idea. Because she did say, I am going to try to get bigger monitors because I really do have to have bigger monitors to see the blueprints. So I wrote that down about the 2 monitor arms. I also wrote down about the laptop docking station that we might need to find a solution for that. Because once you move this big stand out the way, everything comes down on the work surface. There's no room for her to put her keyboard tray or her mouse. And the problem with using a keyboard tray underneath to hold this, a mouse and the keyboard tray up, is that it's about this it's as wide as this top. And getting that to clear underneath a corner workstation, you have to pull it like a foot out to get the corners to clear the corner workstation. Now, you can push it back in if you do that, but then you get into this problem of what is the ideal height for somebody to type on, because carpal tunnel is a real thing here. And what drives carpal tunnel syndrome is this angle that your hands are at. They actually... I've seen it recommended that the keyboard tray, you know how when you like to see the key, I like to see the keys. So the keyboard tray is very often angled like this. Well, they say that's wrong. What they want you to do is they want you to angle it away from you, have your wrist down, and type like this with the keys away from you. They want you to know what the keyboard tray keys are and keep the angle of your hand down as you're typing. Failing that, they want you to move the keyboard tray all over the place during the day, and that's one of the reasons why one of the most popular things we put in right now is electric adjustable height tables, because you can move that up and down. It also moves your back up and down. She was also complaining. She was talking on the phone. Man, this lady was so busy when I got there. Hold on a second. When I got there, this lady was talking in the corner office to her boss. And she was talking to that person for about 10 minutes. She came out. She looked at me. I looked in her face, and I saw immediately the fatigue. I saw it. I saw the fatigue. I said, oh, man, this lady's working her ass off. And she was gracious to me. She was nice to me, but she said, okay, I guess we're modeling keyboard trays and pencil drawers. You can come back to my station. She walked directly back in the station, didn't mention a word to me. I just followed her, and then I looked around, and she put her headset back on. She was on a phone call on the computer. She brought the computer back up. She immediately started talking to the person on the computer. And I was not, you have to be aware of what you're working in and what your station is, what your position is in this job. As a furniture installer, my number one duty to my customer is to make their life easier. And at that moment, I wasn't important. I need to step back, step out of the station, and let her complete who she was talking with and finish that call, which I did. And you have to be aware of this. You can't be so driven with getting something done that you barge into a station and they get on the phone and you go, excuse me, I'm here to put this in. Now, I need to put this in right now. No, you don't do that shit. And I didn't. So, I don't need to clap on the back. That's just the way you treat your customer. You look at the whole scene. I have been on numerous jobs with numerous wonderful ladies and a few wonderful men who work in facilities. And 99.9% of the time, they are buried. They're buried. Because if you have a staff of 500 to 1,000 people in a building, you're getting probably 100 emails a day from people who are not happy about something. And as facilities, you cannot ignore any one of them, those emails. So while you're looking at, 50 urgent emails, because the damn AC vent over their station is blowing too much cold air, or the person 3 rows down is making too much noise, or those damn installers who came in yesterday and installed the furniture was making too much noise, and they're coming back this morning and I can't do my job. While you're reading all this, you're having to get done the backlog of work you've been trying to get done for the last week. And by and large, facilities people are already hired by companies as an expense. And those companies don't like that they have to hire them in the first place. And they don't like when the facilities people come to them and go, look, this user wants something different in their station because what they got, it just ain't working. And every company works on a budget. Every company. So there's no open-ended investment in anybody. So they're always looking for a way to economically and efficiently do the best for their people because they want to keep their people producing. It's not about making them happy. It's about keeping them producing. So anyway, I knew right away what I had wasn't going to work for this lady, and I apologized to her. And I got as much information as I could get from her about what she needed. Now, as an installer, I can't recommend anything to her as far as resolving the problems. That has to come with our people who have to actually go down and talk to the lady and get their books out and see what we can offer her. One of the things we could have done to help this lady is there is a U-shaped piece of metal that clamps, it screws on. You slide this on a corner workstation that her corner workstation was like 236s. And what this does is at the front, there's only that much space at the front of her station where the corner work surface is. And the problem with this is, where this is important, is when you get to that wide keyboard tray. So instead of putting the keyboard tray underneath the station, which is, she's a tall, big lady. Beautiful lady. Very talented lady. But she is physically large, which puts her elbows almost at the height of her workstation. So in her case, it would be nice to use a piece of metal. There's this piece of metal that we can slide over the work surface, so we can screw it with 2 screws underneath. And what it does is it extends this front edge of the corner. And then she can put her keyboard tray here, and she can put her mouse there. Her laptop docking station, the laptop was kind of small, so it could probably go behind that. And the 2 monitor arms, if they're clamped on, they'll rise up over the surface, and she'll have the space under that. Now that's one way we could solve this lady's problems. But I can't recommend that to her. Those people that I work with have to be forward-thinking enough to do that. But I got all the information down. I wrote it down and sent it in the email, and then I sent it in our alternate email. So hopefully we can get a solution that works for this hard-working lady. But this is what people don't understand about office furniture and the costs involved, and why you go ahead and spend the money for something that is quality. This was something that I figured out to myself just this year. And I've been in this business about 35, 40 years. And this is an idiot's argument, and it sounds like bullshit, but it's not. This is about chairs. Now, why should you go spend $1,000 on a desk chair or $700 on a desk chair? What possible reason would it make any sense to do that? Well, first off, we have one of the best warranties in the business. I work for, I'm going to say, the 2 manufacturers, Herman Miller, Knoll. They're the two of the big players in the industry, office furniture industry. There are several others, but I'm not going to advertise for them. But Herman Miller Knoll has some of the best warranty service in the business. And when you buy from them, they will service the product. On top of that, if you buy a Herman Miller Knoll product, they have been designed to last. Now, this is what the point I wanted to tell everybody about chairs. There is no chair you will buy that will last forever without needing some kind of repair. That's good. Now, you'll get chairs that will last forever, but they just won't be as comfortable as a chair that, after 4 or 5 years, needs us to come in and replace a few parts. Because the chairs that we sell, you can adapt to your needs. You can change the way they lean back. You change what the height is. You can change the arms. You can change the arm locations. And there's so many adjustments on some of these chairs, it's amazing. But if you buy our chairs and 3 years later you're going, why am I seeing so many repairs? The reason you're seeing so many repairs is because the chairs are sacrificing themselves for your hard-working employees. This same company that I did this station review for this lady, in one of their emergency rooms in another city, all of their chairs had to have repair. But you want to know why? Because all day long, those people in that emergency room go see a patient, then they go back to their computer station, they slam down in the chair, they work at that computer station for a half an hour, they get back up, they go see somebody else. They slam down in the chair, they're always rolling backwards and forwards, and the chairs are very comfortable. And they meet their needs so well that as far as I can tell when I was in that area, now these are young people, so they don't have a tendency to have complaints of back issues and stuff, but everybody in that station, I can see through their body language if the chair is meeting their needs. I can see if they're comfortable. And all of these people were pretty comfortable in those chairs. And I did a lot of repairs in that one emergency room on these chairs. But that place, this is a wonderful company that does this hospital work in Suffolk, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia, all over Lower Virginia. It's a great big place, a great big corporation. They've got places in Richmond too. But they do wonderful work, and these people are working so hard, and those chairs are taking a beating. And they lasted a good long time, but they did need repair. So we had the parts, and they were repaired under warranty. But that's what you get when you buy a quality chair. That's why when I hear people say, oh, I could go to Staples and I could buy a chair for $90. Yes, you can. And then in 3 months, you can go back to Staples and buy another chair for $90. And then in another 3 months, you can go back and buy another chair for $90. You get my point here. And what the danger is in a cheap chair is that it will fail in a way that will injure your user. Our chairs, when a part fails through use and wear, they don't injure the user. They become inconvenient, but they, as a general rule, they don't become unsafe. And the facilities people call their facilities people who... Those facilities people research who they bought the chair from. They call us. We come out with the parts. We fix it. Bang, they're back up and running for another 3-4 years. They don't have no major investment, a second major investment. And that's how we make our repeat customers, because we put out a hell of a fine product and we service it. But that's expensive, okay? In the initial investment, that's expensive. You have to spend the money to buy the good product so that your user has a good product. Anyway, I'm not here to sell furniture. I'm here to eat daggone breakfast. But I take my job seriously. I really do. And in a time when everybody thinks you can do shit cheap, think about yourself. Would you want to be sitting on a piece of junk? No, I don't think so. 99% of the time that I go on a job with a brand new chair, people are jacked up, excited, and happy. And I love that. They are so happy to get that brand new chair. And people are kind of jealous, too. If they're not getting a brand new chair, but it kind of feeds into an appreciation for a product that makes people comfortable at what they're doing. And I have to tell you, buying quality is never a bad investment. It really isn't. And anyway, I'll leave it at that. This has probably already gone to 2 pieces. I hope not, but thank you, Lord. Anyway, hopefully we'll get that lady what she needs as far as monitor so she can see her blueprints. Monitor arms, 2 monitor arms. And kind of expand some of her workstation space so she can use it better. And we could have dropped in. She had a space up front by her boss's office where we could put 2 3-high, 36-inch wide file cabinets like this, and 2 on the other side facing that way, and then you put 72 by 40-inch work surface on top of that, and she could use that to look at her blueprints. But somebody has to get in there and recommend that, you know. So this is really, 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 really good. Okay. Actually, let's do this. Now, normally, I would just grab this and I would just chew into the side of it. But today, since I got this, I'm going to go ahead and do this way. That is hitting the damn spot. So if you're wondering about the Formula One race, Verstappen went in and pitted. He went down to 4th, and now he's back at 1st. And the race has pretty much reestablished itself as Verstappen 1st, Norris 2nd, Leclerc 3rd. Verstappen is Red Bull, Norris is McLaren, Leclerc is Ferrari, and Piastri is in 4th. He's in McLaren. So he'll be pushing Leclerc the whole race. The gap from 1st to 2nd is 6.6 seconds, and it just went down to 6.5 seconds. Verstappen got pole yesterday. He got a tow from a driver called Nico Hulkenberg, who just happened to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, and he gained about 2/10 up on Norris, Lando Norris. Was it Lando Norris? I think it was Lando. No, Piastri. It was Piastri. And because of that tow, which is there's a hole that a car cuts in the air, and he drove right into that hole, he got the pole. Which is kind of concerning for Red Bull because it shows that McLaren is actually gaining on them. It's about damn time. It's taken them like 3 years to catch up with Red Bull. Red Bull's been so far ahead for so long, it's been crazy. But that's the way this racing is. They always have a dominant team. And they always seem to dominate for like 4 years in a row before anybody catches up. I don't like that. I think after you have 2 years of domination, you got to change the formula. You got to loosen up the rules so people can catch up. And in this racing, the cars are so damn expensive that it's just crazy. That is the perfect salty and sweet combination right there. Oh my. Woo! That is the perfect salty and sweet combination, let me tell you. Mm. Mm. Try to get this all over. Every time I ever in my life ever use jelly, or I ever eat French toast with syrup, I get that shit all over my hands, and everything I touch gets sticky. Everything. It's just because I'm simple in the head, I guess. But I'm trying not to do that with this. As long as I stay away from it with my hands. Mm. That butter is real good tasting butter. The salted butter from Target. That's pretty good butter. I gotta admit. I usually buy Land O'Lakes. I bought a big brick of Amish butter from Walmart. And it was pretty good, but I'm so used to other flavors, you know. Mm.